What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Bobby Five with my man, Eric Sheets-Haber, the big winner of the 2+2 League. We're going to talk a little bit about that and do a quick lineup review. Sheets, congratulations, man.
Dude, I'm telling you, this is, and I've been very clear about this since the season started. Like, I've had some big cashes. I've done well in football, and I could give a shit about anything except for this freaking 2+2 thing. I'm telling you, this is what I think part of why I did well in it is that I guarantee you I'm the only one in the contest who puts as much thought into it as they do. So I want to go over that, and I also want to go over. I really want to go over the Millymaker thing because I'll show you who I played, and then we'll try to figure out how I lost. Okay,
yeah.
Which is somewhat interesting. So let me share my screen and give you. And I don't want to tell anybody how to play. I don't want to criticize everybody, but somebody went freaking bananas here. Okay, so here is the 2+2 thing. Now I want to remind everybody of what was going on here. So the only guys that were in contention were TJ, me. These are the only guys that made the playoffs, and Stampede. What's cool about this contest, by the way, is even if you're eliminated from the playoffs, you still play every week for the single week bonuses, which is pretty cool. I mean, I really like this thing. So Stampede was up by 17 points, and TJ was 10 behind him, and then I was 7 behind him, and I was 7 behind him, or something like that. So I need to make up 17 on Stampede and 7 on TJ, and 4th was way behind, so I didn't worry about him. The thing about Stampede was that he's kind of known for just not doing your traditional cash game builds, and he would really just kind of go for it. But I would figure with a big lead, that he would just kind of be a little whatever. And then TJ, he plays his normal cash game stuff. I figured that he would just play his normal stuff. He'd have Henry. And so I'm like, okay, it's not a big deal. I'll have Henry just like the other 2 guys will have. And I'll just try to see if I can win by being different. As it turned out, neither of them played Derrick Henry at all. So I want to go over, first of all, the losing lineups. Then we're going to do mine. So this is what Stampede did, up 17 points. He went for a Derek Carr, Nelson Aguilar, and then with a DJ Metcalf, Ridley, double stack with Fant and Judy, just basically going nuts on this Vegas game. And he lost by 50 points and went all the way down to 3rd. Okay, I guess that's what happens, man. I mean, that's why he did so well other times, because he was pretty contrarian. So TJ, so you got to think of this. I was watching, and the only thing that I saw from the 1 o'clock games was he only played 2 guys in the 1 o'clock games. Okay, which is smart. He played Lamar, and he played the Browns defense just like I did. And then when it got to the later games, I was expecting to see the same guys that I had. And then I saw that he played this Darwin Thompson dude who I didn't even think about. And he ended up going freaking ballistic. He ended up getting 30. He played Devontae Adams. And then he went with Mike Williams, which I didn't even consider for this contest. And he got 26 out of him. He took a shot with Keelan Cole and got 5. And then he paid up for Kittle, who I thought that was pretty risky, man. And that probably was his undoing. I mean, he only got 13 points out of Kittle, and he played Ty Montgomery. So this is what I did. And again, for those of you who are doing the live stream, you saw me struggle with this. So you see, I did beat TJ by 17, so I had like a 10-point cushion. So the guys who I was locked in, right? So this is really cool. I had Montgomery, I had Adams, I had Marvin Jones. I, for never a moment, thought of playing anybody other than Marvin Jones, by the way, all week. He was the only guy I was locked in the whole time. And he got 41 points. And he got ripped off of another 10 points.
Yeah,
right.
Touchdown, yeah.
And then I was all over Henry and Ingram and the Browns. Now, the only things that I was considering that was different, this is kind of cool. So you saw I had Richie James in the 3K spot. I was between him. We were talking about Deshaun Hamilton. We were talking about the Saints guy or whatever. And I just kind of went with him, but this was really cool. So you'll see that I ended up winning by 10 points. For those of you that were watching live, you don't remember the one thing that I switched, okay? Between the last thing I switched with 5 minutes to post, I originally had, instead of Taylor, I had DeAndre Swift in the running back position. And on the other hand, though, I had Cousins at the quarterback. So whoever was on the live stream said, do you really need DeAndre Swift with Adrian Peterson playing his last game, maybe? I'm like, And then you're like, yeah, maybe it's a good idea to get out of that. All right, so let's see. So let's move up to Taylor. What can I do then? I didn't want to fix anything else. Oh, you know what I could do? I could just go right down to Stafford, and that'll be the end of it. And as it turns out, the Cousins, what's his name? Cousins Swift got outscored by Stafford Taylor by exactly 11 points, which got me the W. The very, very last slop of the season, from Cousins Swift to Stafford Taylor, won me it by 1 point.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome stuff. I remember us talking about that and everything, and pointing out the AP's game against, that there really was some merit to that. You saw when they got down in the goal line when they weren't running hurry up, they were giving AP the carries, and he got a touchdown and everything.
Yep.
So yeah, man, I love it. It's I'm happy for you. I'm happy that it.
So I was pumped, and I want to shout out to one thing. All right, so
the hell, look at Brian. What did he put up? 250 in that?
Well, hold on. I want to say this. So the guy who runs this thing for the last 3 or 4 years, all right, he's this Ryan Ice guy. Okay, that's him. He's the guy who hosts this thing. He does all the work. He puts up the 2+. He puts up the spreadsheet. He collects the money. He holds the money. It's his freaking pool, and he's the nicest guy in the world. He doesn't ever really do anything. I mean, like at DFS, like I don't know, maybe he's really, I don't want to say bad or whatever, but in this particular thing that he created, he's just never cashed, like even a week. Like he's always like dead last. He's always ninth or whatever. And I really feel bad for him. I was like, going to tip him at the end of the year. And dude, after all of that, in the very last week, he pops this one.
Jeez.
This is the only lineup he played. He basically got like 12th in like a Millymaker with this thing.
This would have won like the Wildcat.
Right. And he was actually, there was one thing that the Jerry Jeudy thing cost him. He was telling me like $100,000 or something like that.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. So on the one hand, good for him that he finally got this done. And this is like bananas. You know what I mean? Like this was his one lineup. Away we go. So good for him. He finally cashed this thing, and I must have cashed hopefully for 5 figures at least.
That's an
with
awesome
this
one.
and the different DFS stuff. So shout out to Ryanese, and thanks for running this thing. And
Yeah,
so
congratulations, man. Let's jump through. You want to jump through the regular?
Right. So hold on. So you might think, boy, oh boy, Sheets, you were really on to Derrick Henry. You must have, you were on to Marvin Jones. You must have made a freaking fortune. And you even texted me, he's like, oh my God, you must be crushing it with Marvin Jones. So let's just figure this out. So here is the Millymaker. I played 60 lineups, which is almost more than usual. I lost $780 on $1,200 in buy-ins. And that is with Marvin Jones at 46%. Marvin Jones, okay? Compared to 11% from the field, he had 100,000x, all right? I had 60% Derrick Henry, more than the field. He got 1 million fantasy points. And I was with the field on Ty Montgomery, who, he kind of got there. So what in the good hell did I do to deserve this, right? So so I had Devontae Adams. I guess that's a bust.
Yeah. I mean, I think that because of the way that the things worked out, I can tell you right, looking at it, it's pretty clear right away. It was Jonathan Taylor.
Yep. There you go, huh?
Yeah.
That's
I mean, we talked about it yesterday. Like,
yeah.
I didn't know how to. There was. Yeah. I was saying that I could find ways to try and argue for fading Henry.
That's it.
He was the hard one for me to fade. I might have done it in some of my millionaires because I don't treat those as.
That's the answer. Absolutely right.
But yeah, and then Ridley obviously didn't help you out. And
I didn't even think about it. That was no. You hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah,
it was Jonathan Taylor. I don't know what happened to me in the Millymaker. I started to be too popular, I guess. Oh well.
It's you know what? It's one of those things. I didn't have a good day either. I didn't have a good day.
No, it was one of those things I effed up. That's all. It's not nothing.
Yeah, no, it was hard to get everything in the right way, and you needed it to happen. You needed there was 7 semi-chalky-ish plays that just went nuts. So you had to basically have like 3 or 4 of those 7 to really make it.
Dude, Jonathan Taylor was the 3rd highest owned guy, huh?
Yeah, I knew he was gonna. Yeah. I mean, look, it's easy to say back. I knew he was gonna go crazy, but it was really hard. It was a hard situation for him to fail, in my opinion, with the game script
Dude,
and all that.
Kirk Cousins was 21%.
Which is absurd for a turn.
Wow.
I mean, it's absurd. It's for the chalk to hit like that hard like that, because it could have easily been. And by the way, it was Alexander Madison too, but it could have easily.
Oh no, he wasn't. No, he was 15%. Sorry, I had him 20%. 15%.
He was 24% in like the 333 though.
Really?
Yeah, because I played him in one of them. Oh no, in the 156, 150, 3 max. But like looking at this, like this is all this stuff. Like these are pretty good ownerships you have on these. I'm looking at who else you had around there. Taylor. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't give
Keelan Cole didn't do anything. I guess I didn't need to have 25% of Keelan Cole, I suppose.
Yeah, it's funny because I was exactly with the field, like or right around 20% everywhere on Marvin Jones, but I ended up with like 40% of Mike Williams and all of my big stuff.
Really?
And Mike Williams was really good. He had 6 catches.
He was awesome. You kidding me? He got me. He had me sweating like 2+2.
Yeah, he does, but it's not. It wasn't enough. So I was I think I told you I took a little nap. I woke up because I was like exhausted. It was a long morning. A lot of stuff to go through, and I took a little nap. I woke up and I'm in 4th place or 5th. I can't remember whether it was 4th or 5th in the FanDuel big one. I only played 1 entry. It's $250 buy-in. It wasn't even that, and I'm up like 10K. I'm going great. I only played a few $100 on FanDuel. It'd be nice to have a big win, and I had a real shot at the 100K because I had Parham still going. I had Mike Williams still going. I had Cooks and Watson. Watson was actually like my worst performer, and he was still going though. I mean, we all know he could have had a better outcome there with the end, and maybe they got overtime or whatever. I had Madison in that lineup with Taylor and Henry. It was just the nut, like it looked like the nuts. Oh, and Curtis Samuel was my one other weird guy, but Parham and Mike Williams, I was needing a touchdown from them or a touchdown from Deshaun Watson, maybe running or something, and I might have been able to be in business, but I ended up fading out to 17th after the Judy catch because everybody else had him and I didn't have him in that line.
Hey, but you know what? In the Millymaker, you had when you played 20 lineups, you had like 8 of them with Jerry Judy. It's really strong.
He was 45% for me on DraftKings overall. In terms of the overall tournaments. I mean, again, I only played 20 lineups on Millionaire Maker. I'm really trying to fade out my giant like
your lottery exposure.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I want some of it. Like I don't know. I'm sort of stuck in between on what I want to do with this because I think that it is such a negative EV thing overall when you play every day like I do. But at the same time, you have the one day, and I've come close to winning the million about 3 times, and really close one time. I don't, if you win that one time, it obviously pays for the rest of your life. So it's not a. It's
tough. I don't know. We'll talk about this when we do basketball because I mean, I do this. I've learned to do this from kind of watching you play, like because sometimes like last year or whatever, I would just play like the lottery ticket stuff pretty much. When I first started, because that's it's the allure. It's low buy-ins. I didn't have to put up that much to win a lot. That's the way life is, right? But like every time, like you'd like play these lineups in like the 555 or whatever that like. Not they weren't good, but they didn't they wouldn't have won, the big lottery thing, but that was good enough for like 5th, 6th, 4th. I mean, these are good freaking lineups. And so like, I didn't want to spend all that much. So what I found is that playing like single entries and 3 maxes and like these new stumps, like these 4 max things, you know what I mean? Like that, when you're fighting against 150 max, optimizer experts, it's tough to beat all of them, and yet you can still, win, decent 5 figures, right?
Oh yeah,
these things, and you can get lucky, win the 100K from time to time.
Yeah, you're gonna hit, and you're gonna hit on some of those too. I mean, look, last week is a great example. I played 1 entry in the 555 on the first night of the basketball season on a 2-game slate and come in 2nd place alone for 25K. Whereas if I played that lineup anywhere else and all the 40, if you don't spread it across the,
would have gotten like 200, exactly.
Yeah, I would have made like $1,000 or a couple $1,000,
Well, we saw because it wasn't the same lineup, but there was like when you play that Millymaker, where you got like 2nd for like $90, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's true, and that's the frustrating part about the difference. And so the higher buy-ins, but also the real single and 3 max entry is really where people should focus. You shouldn't plan to try and make a living off of these long shot things, but you absolutely, if you're doing well and you're riding a hot streak and you've got a good feeling about the day or you've got a good feeling of the slate, sure, go for it. But I'm trying to fade that out in football because I think I do have edge in football. This was my first losing regular season in football. I'm not giving up though, because the postseason's always been really good to me.
We have a great slate. What is it going to be, a 6-gamer probably, hopefully?
I don't know if they're going to do it, or I think what's going to annoy me is they're going to probably do is break it into 1 days, which I used to kill the 2-day ones. That was my thing. I finished first in the, I once played one lineup in the 1K. It was a 1K back then on FanDuel, and one in the 500, and I finished first in both of them. And I remember what I did exactly. It was, I played the 2 minimum cost tight ends in the same lineup in the flex, and they both scored 2 touchdowns and were like less than 1% owned on a 2-game slate.
Hey, I have a question. What do you think of I don't know if you were in following us, then we could,
yeah.
As far as football goes. First of all, I have a couple of comments. One comment is in a sneaky way. I mean, how good are the Saints for getting what need to be done with all, just between Breeze being out for 100 years and Thomas being out for 100 years and then Kamara. I mean, they got it done, man. I mean, they totally got it done. The defense is tough.
How good is Sean Payton?
You got to admit it, right?
He's like the original cool new school coach, and everybody sort of forgot about him because of McVay and all these other guys. No, but Sean Payton is really the man.
Yeah. And you have any comment on that shit show last night or not?
Yeah, I'm disgusted. I understand it. It actually makes more sense in this case than it would in any NBA case, but because they literally are talking about drafting 4th or 5th. I think it's 5th versus 10th. That's a big difference, but when you're talking about division rivals and winning things, it's like it feels very non-football. I just don't like that kind of crap.
I didn't watch. Did he have any comments or no?
Doug Peterson?
Yeah.
I didn't listen to him after the thing, but I did watch during the thing, and I wasn't watching the game heavily because I get kind of taxed out on football by the end of the Sunday, especially a wacky one like this. But I didn't even play the night slate. I just was like shocked when he was bringing Hurts out. People were like, "No, what are they doing? They think Sudfeld's really gonna be better than Hurts." I'm like, "Oh no, they're doing this because they're trying to throw this game." They brought out everybody, and that's just, I would be disturbed right now to be a Giants fan. Sorry, Sheets, because I don't.
Yeah, but I mean, right. But the funny thing also is that if it was any other.
Oh, little hiccup there. We got a little hiccup from Eric, so I'm going to have to go solo and finish this one up. Guys, we're going to be bringing you basketball. We're going to be bringing you basketball every day. We'll be doing at least 3 times a week. I will be doing the